And it's getting ready to record. Alright, and it's recording now. And you'll recall last week it was taking a few minutes to actually the response time is a little bit slow, so kind of bear with me. I'm going to bring that back up. I'm going to check just to make sure we haven't had any stragglers looking for any assistance real quick. And looks like we're okay. I have one email. We're having difficulty logging. I'll go ahead and get this started. And as we get people on, kind of start. Alright, today is the group session. I've already muted your phones. You would have heard music on there if you got onto the session 10 minutes, 15 minutes early. You would have heard some music in the background. If you didn't, well, it's because we're live now. Anyhow, I wanted to go again. I always like to start off with the basic rules just to make sure that we get those out of the way. From time to time, we get newer people that come on a group session that have never done the group session. I had somebody ask me that question as to why I do that, and that's the reason why. For example, last Tuesday, we had 4 people that were brand new who have never done a group session with my group session at all, so they didn't really know. So that's the reason why I repeat the basic rules. For those of you who participate every week, well, it's you're an old pro, you've probably seen this. So as always, questions must be relevant to what we're covering today. We're going to go through that information here in a second. If you want to ask a question, you can either email me or instant message me through Gmail by using coaching1on1@gmail.com, and you'll see it in front of your screen there. So either email me or instant message, and I'll try to answer the questions as we go along. Sometimes what I try to do is I try to do about a 40-minute presentation and then answer questions after that, but sometimes it's easier just to ask questions as we go along, especially when those questions are going to be probably specific to what we're talking about. Anyhow, once again, keep an open mind. And if you ever have a question or are not sure about what is something we're talking about, discussing, Google it. You'll be surprised what you find. All right? We're going to go to the next screen. We're going to cover 2 basic areas today, and I hope to spend as much time on content creation as possible. We kind of briefly went over it a little bit last week, not a lot, and if you'll notice from group session to group sessions, I like to end the previous session with something we're going to go into a lot of detail in the following session. So as you recall, the end of last Tuesday's session, we talked a little bit about content creation. We talked about articles. We talked about protecting your articles, that sort of thing. We're going to go into it a lot more in detail. Some of you had some questions about and which is good because I expected that. I wanted you to have some questions, and all those questions that you asked, I had about 8 people who asked some questions about some of the things that we want to cover, and believe it or not, part of content creation, I was going to cover that area as well. And then what I plan on the schedule for Thursday, now keep in mind Thursday we actually have 2 hours available instead of 1 hour. So we're going to be able to spend a full 2 hours this Thursday on creating and starting a backlink campaign, or what we call a link building campaign. So we're going to spend roughly about the full 2 hours on Thursday about link building. So we're going to go through and going to show you some tricks that I learned and some things that really are helpful in creating a link building campaign, or at least getting started. But we're going to kind of go through it a little bit today, just a tiny bit, just to kind of whet your appetite for Thursday. But today we're going to spend a lot of time on content creation, and we're going to basically go over 3 major areas about content creation to help you along the process. All right, so the first thing that we talked about, as you recall last week, we talked about article-based websites. One real popular one is e-sign articles. In another slide, I give you a couple of examples, but one main article-based website is e-signarticles.com. That's a big major one. Why are we talking about article-based websites? Because it has a lot to do with content creation and article spinning